All right, guys, so that is it. That is the tutorial. We have created a beautifully made responsive website from mobile, tablet to desktop. This episode is brought to you by Editor X. All right, so very quickly, we are going to run down just how I reverse engineered the Spotify homepage from scratch in Editor X. And I'm going to show you guys just how I did that right here in a few minutes. Also, if you haven't already, make sure to try out Editor X. It's 100% free. Check out the links in the description and start your free trial for today. With that said, let's get started. This is super simple. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up a new page. So I'm gonna go to my pages right here. I'm gonna scroll down to the bottom because I did create a new page for us just so I can show you guys how I created the menu, and we will start there. So what I did is, honestly, I just downloaded the SVG of Spotify's logo from their website, as well as I just took note of what their menu was from their website as well. And Editor X is just literally so easy. So all I did, I'm just gonna delete both of these things in the menu just to show how easy this is. So we have a blank header here. And any blank website that you make in Editor X already gives you a head, or it gives you a logo and a menu, and you basically just customize it how you want. To show you guys a little bit of how it works, I'm gonna go to my plus here. I'm gonna go to my menu in search just right here, and I have a couple things. So I have, let's go ahead and look for a menu that is good for us. So I'm gonna just grab this menu here. I'm gonna pull this out onto my header, just like this, drag and drop. And I'm gonna go and edit the colors. So I'm gonna go to the text, it's black on black, can't see anything, so we're going to automatically change the colors to white. Now what you guys might be seeing already is like, Brandon, how did you get the menu already to have all of the menu items that you have here? It's super simple. If you guys actually click, or if I click on this, you guys can see manage menu. I have a ton of different menus here. There's main nav, there's footer, footer 3, footer 4, mobile menu, things of that nature. I created all of the pages that I would need for the main menu in my main nav, and essentially I've just organized them in the way that I want them. So if I wanted to switch out the menus just like that, it's super simple. How I created the pages is I just went to the pages tab and just created the different pages. The pages are blank, but for me to actually create the menu that I wanted, it was super simple just to click add page and add them into, when I went to manage menu, create add menu or add item, I went to site pages and I basically selected all the pages that I want to have in this particular menu. So for example, if I wanted to add about, just do that, hit apply. And as you guys can see, it actually says more on this menu piece. All I have to do is drag it out, and we have that new item for us in our menu. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna Control Z that. We don't need that. I am going to pull this out, close this out over here, drag this, boom, make sure all of our menu items that we need are in there, and let's see, I'm just gonna, boom, I'm gonna remove from menu, we don't need that. And I'm gonna actually go to settings, text. I'm gonna reduce this down to say 13. All right, there we go. And I'm gonna squeeze this together just so there's not so much space in between all the menus. There we go. And I'm gonna pull this over to the side, and I'm docking it to the right side of the menu. Now for our logo, it's gonna be super easy. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna go back to add elements. We are going to go to, we're gonna quick add a shape. Now, it's not necessarily a shape, right, that we're adding. We're actually going to add the SVG. So we have basic shapes. We also have vector art. Now we have a whole bunch that we can choose from Editor X, or we can just go to my site files and find all of my SVGs that I've uploaded, and we have the Spotify logo right here. So add to page. We're gonna just pull this out. We don't want it to squish. So we're gonna go to my settings. We're gonna go to our layout here, and what we want to do, first off, we want to make sure that this isn't being squeezed. We're going to pull this up into our navigation here. I'm going to hold shift and pull that into our navigation just like that. And just like we did with the text, we're going to go to our design tab, change the color of our SVG to white, and place it in the center. Just make sure we can see these nice lines in our navigation, helping us align horizontally with our menu here. Okay, and one thing that I'm going to check just to make sure as a designer what the difference in padding is from the menu on the right and also our logo on the left. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this. We have from the left, we're going to do 5%. And over here, we're going to make sure we have the same. So on the right, we're going to have 5%. All right, perfect. So that is our menu, and the rest of everything else, we're going to essentially do the same thing for our header section of the Spotify website. And then we'll go over everything else. So I'm going to actually scale this down just a little bit more, center it. There we go. And now when it comes to the next section, all I'm going to do is I'm going to add a section just like this, or because we already have a section here and we can see that right here, I can start adding our elements by adding this. So I'm going to click this. I'm going to click, let's find ourselves a grid, or a container rather. So we're going to add a container. We're going to scale this up to the full size of the section. We're going to right click and we are going to try to add a grid. So I'm actually going to go here. I'm going to go to apply grid and we're going to do a 1 row or 2 row grid. And what we're going to do here is before I do anything, I'm going to take the background off. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to pull that all the way to 100% and I'm going to steal our Spotify blue here. Make sure that this is all the way up. And what I want to do from here is there is a vector that I want to pull in here. So I am going to right click, quick add. I'm going to go back to shape, change basic shape. I'm going to go to my site files and I'm going to get my green circles here, add to page. Again, what I'm going to do here is I can fully expand this. And as you guys saw, because of the container that we have, the vector actually gets cut off, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. So what I'm going to do is I am just essentially going to move the vector art in a place where I want it so that we can add our text and go from there. So what we have right now is we've created a section, we've created a container, and inside of that we have put in our vector art and we've scaled it to exactly the size that we want. The next step we are going to do is we're going to go back to our container and we are going to apply a grid to it. So we have our container selected. We're going to go to apply grid. We're going to go to 1 and 2 or 1 by 2. We're going to go to add elements. We're going to go to text and we are going to center this baby and we're just going to have listening, capital L, listening is, and on the second line, everything. We are going to center this. And there's a couple ways you can do this. I've ended up doing this a couple different ways throughout multiple times of trying this, but to keep things simple, we're gonna just have everything in one text box and we are going to edit the line height very quickly. So I'm gonna just go in here, line spacing. We're not gonna do auto spacing. We're gonna do 1.2. Not 10, 1.2, there we go. Just so our text is a little bit closer. And what we're gonna do here, we're gonna go back to our text here and we're gonna scale the text. We're gonna do from 50 pixels to 150. And so that way our text actually scales based on how the viewport is responding. We're just gonna pull this out just a little bit more. We're gonna center it again. And we're gonna actually change the text here. We're gonna utilize the Spotify font that we downloaded just today, and we're gonna use circular black, just like this. And we're going to use our Spotify green, so we're just very much gonna go to, again, edit text. We're gonna go to this little icon here and change our text to green. Easy day. So we have one more line of text, and then we have our button to add. So again, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna go to title, and of course, that was just my shortcut. You can obviously use your own shortcut. We're gonna go to paragraph 1. It's gonna be 18 pixels, and we're gonna take our font that we downloaded today. We're gonna use circular, We'll go light for right now, and we will go ahead and copy and paste the text that we have from the Spotify website right here. Millions of songs and podcasts, no credit card needed. So we're just gonna add that. Boom. We're going to make this green as well. And we are going to double check what this size is. So we're just gonna right click, hit inspect. We're gonna turn off the mobile here. I'm gonna pull this baby up, go to computed. What are we looking at? We are looking at 18 pixels. And the font family we are looking at is circular, and I do not think they're using light. So I'm going to, rather than using light, I'm just gonna go ahead and have it as book. There we go. Now I'm gonna center this just like that. Make sure that we are also centering the text itself. Here we go. I'm actually gonna pull this down, center it within that grid line. I do wanna adjust the grid here, so I'm gonna edit the grid. I wanna make sure that this, here we go, just like that. But I do wanna make this grid a little bit longer, the bottom one, just a little bit. And I'll put done. There we go. Okay, so what we're gonna go here is we're gonna pull this up. We're gonna grab our button. So we're gonna go add element. We're gonna grab our button. We're gonna pull this right here. And we're gonna grab the text that this button has here, which is get Spotify for free. So I'm just gonna copy this, change text, paste that in there. I'm gonna expand this button very quickly. I'm now just gonna change the colors a little bit. I've already saved the green. And for our text, we're gonna use that Spotify blue that we already have saved as well. Now for the text, I do wanna change it from Poppins to our uploaded Spotify font. So I'm gonna just go to circular book, and I'm gonna bring this down to, let's just say 12 pixels, just like so. Center, and there we go. So now what we're gonna do here is we're gonna take our container here, and we're gonna move some things. So I'm gonna try to pull this down a little bit. We're gonna try to adjust some things. So we have our Spotify free. We're gonna pull this down just a little bit. Same thing with this text as well. We're gonna go back in here. We are going to make sure that we can adjust. We're gonna adjust this grid one more time. And so I'm gonna give the top a little bit more space, and the bottom grid a little bit less space. We're gonna close this in just like that. There we go. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna click done. We're gonna move our listening is everything. We're gonna center it in this grid just like this. Let it snap. We're gonna pull this up as well as the button. And now we're just gonna make sure everything has docked. So we want our button docked to the top of that grid. We want our text also docked to the top, and our listening is everything. We want this to be docked to the top and to the bottom. Or one or the other. The top or the bottom is fine. So here it is. This is our first portion of the Spotify homepage, and let's dive into the rest. All right, so now we're gonna work on the footer. So first things first is we wanna get some color into this. Before we do that, so we wanna make sure that there is color in our footer. So the first thing that we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna make it black. And we are going to start changing some of the text in the footer as well. So right here, we're gonna make sure we're just duplicating the Spotify text from the top navigation. We're bringing it down into the footer. From here, we are making sure that we are adding some of our grids to our footer. So like I said, next, we're working on our footer. What we've done is we've copied and pasted the Spotify website from the top menu down to the bottom navigation. We have docked it to the exact same left side as we have for the top, and we've made sure that the actual padding or the margin is the exact same as the top menu. Now we're gonna go ahead and start making some of the categories that we need for our footer menu, starting with company. All right, we've changed the text color to a little bit of a gray. We've docked it to the left side of that grid. And now what we're going to do is we are going to add element, and we're looking for a vertical menu. We found a good vertical menu. We are essentially pulling it down into the menu now. We're making sure that we have a nice white or that gray color that we're looking for, and we're gonna pull it down into our footer menu just like this. Pulling down the footer. I love the fact that I don't have to put in the numbers for what exactly I need for the footer, but just getting it where I need to, putting it where I need to go. So easy. So now what I'm doing is I am essentially, just like we did with the main navigation, I'm now creating a footer navigation. So I'm creating a new menu or new menu type, and from here I essentially have to make all the different pages for each one of the footer segment menus. So what you guys see me doing here is I'm essentially creating the new menus, or essentially the new pages. So we've created the login, we've created the about, we've created the jobs, and I'm just adding in one page at a time. All right, so now that I have all of my new pages, I'm going in and essentially going to add and change each one of the pages that are in the following menu. So I've changed that link to about, and now I'm just going to rename it to about. And now I'm gonna add the rest of the menu items. Jobs, for the record, for artists, developers, things of that nature. And again, just putting it where I want to. And from here, I'm just essentially just finding what is the right font size, what exactly do I want it to look like, etc. All right, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm going to adjust the grid. As you guys can see here, there's about 3 columns. We need more because we have more menus to add. So what I'm gonna do is I have clicked adjust grid, and now I'm going to edit grid. I'm gonna add in some more columns. So I add about 2 more. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to adjust the sizes and then make more of the vertical menus. All right, we have our third menu title in. We're gonna change it to useful links. And there we go, we have our 3 vertical menus in our footer. And now really the rest that we need to do, there's 3 social links. There is Facebook, Twitter, and 1 other social media. And then we have our little copyright messaging at the bottom of the footer. So let's take a look how we do that. All right, so with our final little side column here, we are going to go to add new elements. We're going to go to our menu and search hamburger menus, and we are going to pull in our social automatically created for us, thanks to Editor X, social links. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to set social links to really edit what exactly we are using for our social links. So we have 6 social links here. We don't need all of them. So I'm going to delete the ones that we don't need. And by the way, there's tons of other social icons that you can pick and choose from if you so desire. So that's what I like about Editor X, is that there's a ton of flexibility. They give you a lot of things in their software that, you know, most of the time you would have to go and fish to grab and, you know, upload and things of that nature. But they give you everything here, makes it super simple. We need social media links, awesome. There's white ones, there's different color ones. They have ones that are already uploaded, awesome. So I've picked Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and now I'm going to change the color just a little bit. So I've changed them to gray. I am now working on some of the icon sizing and spacing, and this is pretty much to my liking. So now I'm gonna move it to exactly what I want and dock it to the grid. All right, so now to add our legal sort of really small footer navigation links, as well as the USA 2021 and the copyright 2021 for Spotify, we are going to, again, edit the grid for our footer, and we're gonna add in the information that you guys see at the bottom into the actual footer of our website. So let's take a look. So we're gonna edit grid. We are going to add a row. We're gonna hit done, and all of the information that we actually put into another section below, we're actually gonna bring into the same footer that we have been editing. It's a common mistake or misconception of what people think to do, but because of how powerful the grids are and how customized you can really make an entire section just with grids, you can keep everything in one section and just customize everything just with your grids. So what I'm doing here is I'm just adjusting the size and making sure everything is docked to the left and the right of the footer. So let's move forward and see where we are. Now from here, essentially, now we're moving responsive. So we've moved to the tablet view and everything kind of looks a little scrunched. We're gonna utilize the scaling text, make sure that we're able to actually size the fonts so that when the viewport is scaled, we actually we can have a flexible website. So, and this is what Editor X makes super simple. So essentially everything from here on out, I am trying to make sure it looks good on tablet and mobile, and really all that requires of us is just changing the different percentages, how big things are, scaling them, moving things around. As you guys can see me here, the shape that we have here, the vector that we have here is running into the text. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move the vector around so it doesn't interfere with the text. So what I'm going to do is scale it down a little bit, move it over to the left and to the right, and just so that we can actually read the listening is, or that listening is everything. So I moved it down a little bit, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to push up millions of songs and podcasts, no credit cards needed, as well as the call to action, get Spotify free today. So as you guys can see here, I've moved up our subtext. I'm making sure that it's on 2 lines, so period and period. And then we're gonna move our call to action up just a little bit, making sure that these are docked at the right places. So now we're moving on to the footer. What we're making sure here is that all of our titles stay flexible and don't really get smashed when we go to the tablet viewport size. We're making sure everything is vertically aligned and making sure things are docked in the right way. So we're making it so that we have a flexible website. Essentially, we are on the tablet view and we're just essentially rearranging everything, redocking everything. Things have moved a little bit. We wanna reorient where our menu items are and basically tell Editor X, hey, when we're at this viewport or at this size, make sure that all of our elements are in this position and are docked here and don't move out of position. So that's the thing. Grids for Editor X just make things so much easier. If we want to change a lot with grids in each viewport, we can, with the freedom that it's not going to mess up the rest of our experience. So this is our tablet view. We have 3 columns and we have 3 rows. We're going to switch over to desktop. We have 2 rows and we have 5 columns. Super awesome. So that's the flexibility of Editor X in terms of how powerful the grids are. And now we still have to work on some of the in-between and making things responsive. As you guys can see, the in-between state still needs some work, but we're halfway there. What I really like to do in Editor X is I like to jump from doing the desktop, doing the tablet, and then doing the mobile. And then from there, I really start messing around with the percentages and refine everything. All right, so now we're in the mobile arena, and now essentially exactly what we did with tablet, we are making sure that we are rearranging everything so that it fits within our mobile viewport. So we made sure that we've changed the sizes and the scaling of the text. We've made sure that everything is rearranged from the vector of the shapes, that is not obstructing the text. And now we're gonna go ahead and deal with our footer. Right now it looks like a hot mess, but it's super easy to fix. So what we're gonna go ahead and do here is this. So first things first, for our footer, is we're gonna go ahead and edit the grid. So we're gonna go to adjust grid, we're gonna go ahead and edit grid, and we now have 9 rows. We don't need all of those. But again, as things have essentially kind of broken mobile, all we have to do is rearrange and basically tell Editor X, hey, this is how we want to arrange the content in the mobile footer only. So we're going to start to drag some of those vertical menus just left aligned in the rows that we want. So starting with the Spotify logo, starting with the company vertical menus and its menu items. And because we do have so many grids, we're going to go ahead and delete some of the rows and just keep exactly what we need. We're moving some of our social bars just out of the way. We're going to prioritize all of the vertical menus first and just keep the rows that we need. Editing some of the rows, just making them as large enough to exactly where we need them. I'm gonna pull up communities. I'm gonna make sure that all of the elements are left aligned, utilizing the multiple elements right side panel. All right, we have 2 menu items complete. I'm dragging some stuff down and getting them out of the way. Bring our useful links up. Left align them. Pulling down our grid, making sure that giving it space. And once I have everything in order, I'm just going to delete the rest of the rows. Now I'm just adjusting all of the grids, making sure I've docked all of the information as it should be. So one of the things that we're going to do next is talk about the mobile and tablet menus, but we haven't done that. Essentially, it was kind of hiding from us. We never changed the color of the menu, so it was blending in with the black background. So we've clicked it. We can go ahead and close the menu if we want. You guys see the change basic shape, which, like I said, that is how you change the shape of the mobile menu. But let's take a look at this. So like you guys see, we have premium, we have support, download, sign in, and sign up, but we don't want that little space that we have there in the mobile menu. So what I have to do is I have to create an entirely new menu for mobile only, because if I take out that little dash that we're using in our desktop menu, that will change the desktop menu, and we don't want that. So we're gonna actually make a mobile menu that is specific to the tablet and mobile experience. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I go to manage menu. I'm gonna select which menu I want to have displayed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click that drop down. I'm gonna go to mobile menu. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add new menu item, go to site pages, and select all of the pages that I want, starting with premium, support, download, sign in, sign up, and that way I'm not gonna add that little dash. So there we have it. That is our mobile menu. Super easy. We have the same pages. We've basically just removed the dash and we've created a new menu. All right, so right now I'm just double checking everything. I'm seeing how desktop is, I'm seeing how tablet is, I'm seeing how mobile is, checking both the navigation, the page, the footer. Is everything responding as it should be? All right, guys, so that is it. That is the tutorial. We have created a beautifully made responsive website from mobile, tablet to desktop. As you guys can see, I'm literally pulling and contrasting these side handles here that Editor X has, and we have made some really awesome work here. All right, guys, so that is it for this episode of Reverse Engineering the Spotify website in Editor X. If you guys enjoyed it, don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe for more. With that said, like I always do, each month we are reverse engineering your favorite websites from scratch in Editor X. If you do want to watch more of videos like this or follow along in this series, check out the series right here, and we'll see you there.